What's going on, guys? My name's Jeff and this is Premium Aquatics, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new 300 series Gyre pump from Maxspect. Today we got a brand new product lined up for you, but before we jump into that, if you're new to what we're doing here, this is where we take a look at new products each and every week to help you make an informed decision on what is right for you, your reef tank, and your budget. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified every time that we upload a new video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the new 300 series Gyre pump from Maxspect. So let's jump into it. Alright folks, so we're taking a look at the Gyre 300 series, which has just came out, and we have the XF330. There's also the XF350. So real quick, some of the specs on these pumps. The 330 moves up to 2,350 gallons per hour. As far as power consumption goes, it uses 5 to 35 watts. And this is an ideal pump for a 25 to 100 gallon tank. Where the 350 is going to move a little bit more water for you, is going to move 5,280 gallons per hour. Its power consumption is a little bit bigger. You're going to be using 5 to 52 watts. And that pump, which has a huge spectrum of tank size, it's going to cover an 80 gallon all the way up to a 800 gallon aquarium, which is pretty amazing. So really, with the XF330 and the XF350, you're going to be covering pretty much all aquarium sizes for all level of hobbyists. So when Maxspect started working on the Gyre 300 series, they wanted to make something that was easier to take apart, had less parts in it, basically to make maintenance of this pump much easier, and they have achieved that with the 300 series. So for those of you that have been out there and have been putting the Gyre pumps to work and have found that the maintenance side of them is a little bit tricky, they have addressed that with the 300 series, which is very exciting. So for those of us that are new to the Gyre flow style pumps, these are a pump that has a very small footprint. It also has a very unique flow design, which is considered a linear flow. And what happens, let's say that this box is your aquarium. You have your pump set up right here where my finger is, and it blows across the top. It's a flat line of flow blowing across the top. It hits this wall, it shoots down, across, and then back up. And you can do a number of different configurations with this style of pump. You can also put it on the back, so it blows towards the front, across the front of the glass, and then back, and then around again to the pump. And it's a really unique, powerful flow, and hands down it's some of the best flow that you can have in a reef tank. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have in the box. A little bit of padding on the front. Very thick instructions manual. Even though that it's thick, it's relatively simple because it's just listed in a number of different languages. It also has some information that is important to the pump, and then here you have it. So this is the control. So you have your control unit here. Alright, so we have our controller here, and this is something that is pretty well built. You have your harness on the back. There's a heat sink built into the back of the controller. And then you have these 4 pigtails hanging down. So it's a combination of power supply and pump control. So you have your A's and your B's. This is for pump B, this is for pump A, as well as your power supply. And you have the ability to use one power supply with this new model of controller, which is very interesting. You have to buy basically a split for your power supply unit, and you can run 2 pumps off the same brick, which is pretty thoughtful. I always have liked these Maxspect controllers. The way in which that they mount to most of your aquariums is pretty simple in its design, but it's effective and it works well. Next we have some of the flow clips as well as the pump screens, and there's also a cap in there. Something that's very interesting about this pump is you can actually eliminate one of the sides and just have one pump, which is going to make this pump be able to fit into those tight sections of the tank. These magnets are very strong. They have a little bit of a pad in there. Make sure that you don't snap them together because it could cause some pain in the hand and definitely to small children. So you never want to leave this stuff laying around if you have little kids running around like I do. Healthy amount of cord there, so you don't have to worry about not having enough. That's always good. Then you have the power brick and the power cord for the power brick. The size of these pumps is always surprising to me because I'm always expecting a bigger pump when I look at them, mostly due to the fact of what they're capable of moving for water. Even these smaller size pumps can really move some absolute serious water. And with the Gyre flow pumps, one of the best designs about them is these rubber magnet foots. So the magnet is completely encased in rubber, and not only does it help protect the glass, it also does a very good job of eliminating unwanted vibration and sound. Alright, so something that I wanted to kind of illustrate with you is some of these devices that come for the actual power head itself. Okay, so most of us that have seen these Gyre pumps are familiar with these screens that come with it, and basically what these do, they kind of operate in the same fashion as a finger trap, and what they do is they simply slide over the actual inlet and outfeed of the pump, and that's going to protect livestock from going into the pump at that point. You get 4 of these, and they're pretty helpful as far as protecting marine life from the Gyre flow pump. New to this year, we have these directional flow clip-ons, which are pretty handy, and to clip them on, it's pretty simple. You just have these grooves that run across the front and the back, and they just simply click into place, and you're able to have a little bit of directional flow, so you have a little bit more controllability over where the water is going instead of just going straight across with the pump. And something that I'm really excited about with this pump this year is you have the ability to make this pump a little bit smaller, so you're able to get it into those tight to fit spaces. Now simply all you do is just pull the cover off, you're able to pull the propeller off, then simply just cap that, and you're able to have a 1 Gyre flow. Now some of the places that this would be really convenient is in the back corner of a tank. So let's say that you have this in the back corner, you're able to get it above the sand, have that flow well above the sand line and pushing across the back of the aquarium glass, which is going to be extremely beneficial in those tight to use spaces. And like we talked about earlier in the video, these new pump designs really make it easy to get in there and be able to really detail clean this pump. Alright, so what we're going to do right now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to set it up in a barrel that I'm mixing salt water in. We're going to take a look at some of the flow with this pump, and we're going to see some of the control features with the new controller. Setting up the Maxspect XF330 is incredibly easy. In fact, I would go as far as to say that the most difficult part of this process was undoing the wire ties that hold the cabling together. And that's probably one of the best things about the Maxspect pumps is they are incredibly easy and intuitive to set up and operate. It's not a pump that you have to spend hours upon hours reading an instruction book to figure out how to operate it. It really is something that is easy as plugging it in and setting it up. As far as operation goes, if you have owned a Maxspect Gyre pump in the past, it's relatively the same. The one thing that is a little bit different is that you have the ability to control 2 different pumps, and you have to set up both independently. And the great thing about running them through one controller is you have the ability to have them operate independently, in sync, or opposite of each other. Some of the different water movement modes you have is constant mode, pulsing mode, gradual pulsing mode, random mode, alternating gyre mode, and custom wave mode, which the custom mode and other advanced controls are only available through the Synergy app. And it's definitely important to mention that if you want to use this pump with the app, you need to purchase a ICV6, which is sold separately. Everything considered, all the work that Maxspect has put into the 330 and the 350 gyre pumps, this is absolutely a huge step in the right direction, and I'm very impressed with how easy it has become to clean and operate and set up this pump, and I think it's something that is extremely beneficial and is going to help a lot of hobbyists. And right here to close things out, you can see the 330 moving about 50 gallons of water with ease. Very impressive, a strong little pump. The one thing that I absolutely love about this pump is its ability to make its footprint smaller so you can fit it into those smaller nooks and crannies of your reef tank. I really like the fact that Maxspect has looked into this and made this possible by being able to remove one side of the gyre pump, and I think that that's really brought this pump to an entirely new level. I also love the fact that they've made it easier to break down and clean, which is going to help the maintenance of this pump tremendously. If you guys want to take a look at the Maxspect XF330 and the 350, there's going to be a link down in the description where you can do some more research or even pick one up for yourself. That's going to do it for today. If you enjoyed this one, make sure you hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you next week right here with a brand new video.